$1 billion to ramp up housing development in the city. That money, announced yesterday, will come from the Federal Housing Accelerator Fund, and it is set to create nearly 12,000 homes over the next 3 years. The deal between the Toronto and federal governments follow similar agreements inked with other cities, including Brampton and Mississauga. Ian Underwood is the CEO for Habitat for Humanity GTA and is in studio with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning and happy holidays.
And to you. What is this? What does $500 million buy?
Well, I've heard a couple of people refer to it as a down payment. People may recall the mayor's housing plan that she announced a few months ago is for 65,000 homes and $30 billion. So this is half of $1 billion. But it's actually quite cleverly designed in terms of the number of different pieces of the puzzle it can get at. So I think it can buy quite a bit. And if you don't mind, because it's the holiday season, I think it's important to situate this. Let's put a face on this. Earlier this week, one of our relatively new Habitat homeowners, a single mom, shared with us that this year, for the first time ever, her 9-year-old son wrote a Christmas list. And she went on to say she had really tried hard in past years not to share with him just how stressful it was making ends meet, but he always sensed it, and so he never felt he could really ask for anything for himself. And her point, and her point was, this is what a secure, safe home, affordable home does. So all of these pieces of a very big puzzle help to get us more 9-year-olds that can actually dream and think bigger.
It's a good reminder of how housing is the gateway to so many other things.
Absolutely.
With the stability of housing, with this, with the knowledge of that stability. Yeah. The federal government and the city says this money is going to help create 12,000 homes over the next 3 years. You were talking about Olivia Chow's drive towards 65,000 homes over a set period of time. Does this help put us on track for those goals?
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, one of the big pieces of the Housing Accelerator Fund is just that, the word accelerate. And to accelerate, you begin with approvals. And I think you mentioned earlier, in Canada, it takes 3 times as long as in the United States to get to a building permit. And Toronto is last in the pack. So we are too slow. So the first part of how do we get more homes is to speed up how fast we can get more homes. So there's a number of pieces of this fund that will enable the city to consolidate a number of the silos and get information moving more easily, to digitize some of the work, to empower staff around some of the routine decisions. All told, the numbers add up to a 24% increase per year in the number of building permits issued. So that time is money. We develop homes at Habitat for Humanity, so speeding up approvals is a first step in a puzzle. Another kind of piece that's not on directly putting money into homes, but another big piece of this is zoning. So there's a lot of parts of what the city is now committed to intensify our neighborhoods. Yeah. And that was in the multiple rounds where the feds kept coming back and said, we think you can do more. This is part of what got increased by the City of Toronto, of additional nuances of now looking at 4-story sixplexes on any lot in the City of Toronto, intensifying our missing middle, etc. So those are 2 pieces in addition to some of this money going directly into new homes that will be built.
There's a lot to unpack here, but one of the things that keeps coming up in the letters from the city to the feds and from the feds to the city is the word rent. Take me through that.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's now being talked about a lot in the media, and it's a good thing to talk about the fact that for too many years, we disincentivized building rental housing, both purpose-built rental housing and affordable rental housing in this city and in this country. So what is very good is the amount of attention that is now being put on. We need to build more rental housing. I will say, however, a concern that we certainly have at Habitat for Humanity is there's a risk now of over-indexing on rent. So
really?
The word rent appears 55 times in the city's submission for this funding. The word ownership does not appear at all. And so, Mayor Chow has talked about this is a generational transformation of our housing system. There is a risk if we focus exclusively on rent that the transformation is that future generations will only have rent as an option. And the challenge is, what organizations like us at Habitat for Humanity, Options for Homes, Trillium Housing, what our organizations do is create a pathway for those who want to aspire to move beyond rent, to move into ownership.
But you're not saying that there isn't value in having a mix.
For sure.
And particularly
that's the key.
I mean, I think you need, in Toronto itself, the average amount that you would need to make as a household is like $250,000 now to afford the down payment.
Exactly.
So rent is, for a very large number of people, the only option right now.
But we have to be careful not to risk making it the only option forever, right? So, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, for most part, the formula was anyone who could work hard, have some discipline around saving, could aspire to be able to own a home at some point. As you said, right now it is, like Toronto Star wrote this week, $253,000 is the average household income to afford an average home in the city, plus have a $219,000 down payment. So if you are renting and paying 50% of your income on rent, you're in the line for the food bank. You are not putting money, you're able to put money aside to have that option of being able to move forward to ownership.
Yeah. So if you're a 20, 30, 40-year-old in this city, what are you looking towards? How are you actually going to achieve something like that?
Yeah, exactly. So that's I think where we would worry a bit about a balance. So a good example is the City of Toronto has a program called Open Door, which was started under the Tory administration. It provides a number of incentives for affordable rental housing. Through the Housing Accelerator Fund, the intention now is to expand those incentives for purpose-built rental. Good thing. But we would say from Habitat for Humanity or anyone doing affordable ownership, why wouldn't we expand those same incentives to enable organizations like ours who are helping people, in our case, we're helping people buy homes with a $200,000 mortgage and a zero down payment. That gets them on the road to eventually having enough to buy a market home. Then they move out of that Habitat home, and someone else moves into it, which frees up a rental unit, which frees up a supportive housing unit, which means someone in an encampment, in a tent, has an opportunity to move to their next step. So that's, when we think about this mix of housing, that's what we will certainly be continuing to encourage at the federal, provincial, and municipal level. We've got to get all pieces of this mix.
Is that part of what you would mean when you say affordable housing, which means so many different things to so many different people?
Yeah, well, so you're absolutely right. Affordable housing needs to mean the person in the tent has an option other than a tent. And so that person in a tent may have an income of $12,000, right? But affordable housing now also means a household that's earning $110,000 and has 3 children, they can't afford an apartment. And it sounds strange to call that affordable or attainable housing, but that is where we are, now. And I think that's also why this word attainable has come in. Increasingly, we hear attainable. Never used to talk about attainable. Affordable is for people that need a hand, and market is for everyone else. But now, back to your comment, we need a whole diversity of housing for all income levels and for all household types. Singles, large families, small families, couples aspiring to have a family. That's what, and again, to be clear, there are a lot of really good things in what's being announced yesterday. This is a great Home for the Holidays announcement. And so there's a lot here to work with, but it does not fix everything. There is more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to finish off with the word attainable that you're talking about there. Mayor Chow, first year in office, we're now seeing deals with the province, deals with the feds around housing, affordable housing, getting more housing done, cleaning up some of the process, the red tape around getting housing built. Do you think that, if I circle back to that word attainable, are we on that track?
This announcement puts us on this track.
Yeah.
And I think what's also powerful in the announcement, it's another piece of government collaboration. We need multi-government collaboration to solve this puzzle. This is a piece where the federal government has used money to incentivize change at the municipal level. That's a really good demonstration of what is possible when we are bringing all 3 levels of government together. It's like the Globe and Mail's holiday crossword puzzle. It's overwhelming to look at. There's things that go up, down, crossword, sideways. We need a lot of pieces, but each of those pieces can together help us collectively address this housing crisis.
Ian Underwood, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is Ian Underwood, who's the CEO of Habitat for Humanity GTA, in studio with us. 7:22.